Welcome to the Top 200 Drugs series. In this video, we will memorize selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, also called SSRIs. First, let's look at the 6 drugs in this class. To memorize this class, there are 2 helpful patterns. First, generic name endings. 2 drugs end with opram. 2 drugs end with oxetine. 1 drug ends with voxamine. 1 drug ends with traling. Second, pronunciation patterns. Generic names usually have 3 to 4 syllables, with smooth and soft endings. Brand names are usually shorter. They often have 2 syllables, with a strong opening sound and a clean ending. Now let's go through the drugs one by one. Number 1. Citalopram. The generic name is Citalopram. Again, Citalopram. The brand name is Celexa. Again, Celexa. Citalopram is commonly used to treat depression and anxiety. Now let's build a memory link between the generic name and the brand name. Cue number 1. Sit and stare at the ceiling. Think about the word sit. Sit reminds you of Citalopram. And think about the word ceiling. Seal sounds like the beginning of Celexa. So imagine this scene. You sit and stare at the ceiling. Sit reminds you of Citalopram. Ceiling reminds you of Celexa. Cue number 2. Sit and relax. Again, sit reminds you of Citalopram. And relax reminds you of Celexa. Sit and relax. If these cues don't work for you, you can use the minimal distinctive chunk method. This means linking the smallest sound pieces to help you remember the generic and brand name pair. For this pair: Cita, Celexa. Cita, Celexa. Cita, Celexa. Repeat these chunks as many times as you need. The rhythm itself builds memory. Now let's briefly look at the name insights. Breaking a name into parts can sometimes make it easier to remember. First, the generic name Citalopram. The part cital is mainly a phonetic element in the generic name. It can also serve as a mnemonic cue for the cyano group, also called a nitrile group, in the chemical structure. The ending pram appears in this SSRI pair, Citalopram and Escitalopram. Second, the brand name Celexa. The beginning su echoes the opening sound of Citalopram. And the ending lexa may suggest relaxation, which fits the idea of treating depression and anxiety. That's Citalopram and Celexa. Number 2. Escitalopram. The generic name is Escitalopram. Again, Escitalopram. The brand name is Lexapro. Again, Lexapro. It is also used to treat depression and anxiety. Now let's build a memory link. Escitalopram looks very similar to Citalopram. And Lexapro looks similar to Celexa. Escitalopram adds es to the beginning of Citalopram. The brand name Lexapro removes ce from Celexa and adds pro at the end. Now let's briefly look at how the name is built. First, the generic name Escitalopram. The prefix es indicates the S enantiomer. Citalopram contains both the R enantiomer and the S enantiomer. Escitalopram contains only the S enantiomer. Now the brand name Lexapro. Lexa echoes the lexa sound in Celexa. Pro may suggest a stronger or more refined version, reflecting Escitalopram's relationship to Citalopram. And that's Escitalopram and Lexapro. Number 3. Fluoxetine. The generic name is Fluoxetine. Again, Fluoxetine. The brand name is Prozac. Again, Prozac. It is used to treat depression, bulimia, OCD, and PMDD. In this case, there are no clear sound cues. So we use the backup method. Fluox, Prozac. Fluox, Prozac. Fluox, Prozac. Repeat as many times as you need. Now let's briefly look at how the name is built. First, the generic name fluoxetine. The prefix flu suggests fluorine in the chemical structure. Ox may reflect the oxygen bridge in the molecule. The ending etine or oxetine is a common ending seen in several antidepressant names. Now the brand name Prozac. Pro may suggest progress. Zac may suggest a strong brand style ending. And that's fluoxetine and Prozac. Number 4. Paroxetine. The generic name is Paroxetine. Again, Paroxetine. The brand name is Paxil. Again, Paxil. It is used to treat depression and anxiety disorders. Now let's build a memory link. The beginning part of paroxetine is par. It sounds like the word pour. The beginning part of Paxil is pax. Pax, in Latin, means peace. We link these two parts together, per pax, which gives us the phrase, pour, peace. If this cue doesn't work for you, use the backup method. Par, pax. Par, pax. Par, pax. Repeat as many times as you need. Now let's briefly look at how the name is built. First, the generic name paroxetine. The prefix par refers to the parafluorophenyl group in the structure. The ending oxetine is shared with fluoxetine. Now the brand name Paxil. Pax comes from the Latin word for peace. IL is a common brand style ending. And that's paroxetine and Paxil. Number 5. Fluvoxamine. The generic name is Fluvoxamine. Again, Fluvoxamine. The brand name is Luvox. Again, Luvox. It is used to treat obsessive-compulsive disorder. Now let's build a memory link. The connection between these two names is very simple. The brand name Luvox looks like a shortened version of the generic name Fluvoxamine. This is a simple and very effective memory anchor. Now let's briefly look at how the name is built. First, the generic name Fluvoxamine. The prefix flu suggests fluorine in the chemical structure. The ending voxamine sounds similar to oxetine, which helps place it among SSRI drugs. Now the brand name Luvox. The name reflects a shortened form of the generic name Fluvoxamine. And that's Fluvoxamine and Luvox. Number 6. Sertraline. The generic name is Sertraline. Again, Sertraline. The brand name is Zoloft. Again, Zoloft. It is used to treat depression, obsessive-compulsive disorder, panic disorder, social anxiety, and PMDD. Now let's build a memory link. Cue number 1. Serpent living in the zoo loft. The beginning of sertraline is ser. Ser reminds you of the word serpent. For Zoloft, you can split the word into zoo and loft. Now imagine this scene. A serpent is living in the loft of a zoo. Serpent reminds you of sertraline. Zoo loft reminds you of Zoloft. Cue number 2. We can also use the first letters of the two names to build a link. First, S and Z are similar sounds. Second, an S flipped sideways can resemble a Z. So we connect sertraline and Zoloft through S and Z. Now let's briefly look at how the name is built. First, the generic name sertraline. The prefix ser may refer to serotonin, the neurotransmitter targeted by SSRIs. The ending traline is a phonetic ending used in this antidepressant name. For the brand name Zoloft, the opening zo gives a strong, energetic brand sound. And loft may suggest lifting, or a lifted mood. And that's sertraline and Zoloft. That's the complete SSRI set. 6 generic brand pairs to remember.